Welcome to the Horror Highway. Oh jeez, man. How do I intro these things? Anyways, so we're going to do deep dives into some of the scarier cases / events that took place on the cult Spanish radio show La Mano Peluda. La Mano Peluda is an insanely popular radio show from Mexico and southern United States. Maybe some other Spanish-speaking parts of the world. I'm not too sure. I just know that it's popular in those areas. La Mano Peluda is a show that listeners call in and tell their horror / scary / paranormal / etc. experiences to show host Juan Ramon Sanz. I think that's how you say his last name. He's passed away now, and I'm pretty sure the show stopped. They did have a second host for the show, but the show is over, so it is what it is. And the show really did have some scary things, or at least what the callers said experienced. Who knows if they're real or not. I'm gonna be completely honest though. I completely forgot the radio show existed at all until I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw a podcast clip and it started talking about it, which reminded me and led me to think of and create this video / series. I'm not sure what to call it yet. So shout out to Unnoticed Podcast. I'll link their channel, their TikTok, in the description. Anyways, a lot of Spanish speaking people know this radio show, but from what I noticed, not a lot of English speaking YouTube channels have really spoken about it. For this, I guess, new series, videos, like I said, I'm not sure. I guess series, even though I'm not sure how many episodes we're even going to make for it. We will cover the case of Josue, which is probably the most popular case that has come out of the show. It's pretty popular in Hispanic and Spanish-speaking communities, but kind of unnoticed and uncovered outside of them. Like I said, there has been, the Unnoticed Podcast has talked about it, and I believe one or two other YouTube channels have covered anything from the show. And that's pretty much why I would like to try and cover the scariest calls the show has received. But I'll start the first episode with the case of Josue. One of the scarier tales from the radio show was the case of Josue, a Mexican Satanist who, when he called La Mano Peluda, he said that he spent more than 5 years trying to get in contact with the demon and make it agree to a pact. So, at the age of 14 years old, Josue and his family started having money problems, which made Josue start looking for ways to help his family. So Josue went looking for ways to help his family, and he ended up finding a book of black magic that would help him get in contact with the demon. So don't get me wrong, I kind of see where he's coming from. I'm sure many of us have seen our family struggle and wanted to help them. But even at the age of 14, I was already listening to horror stories on YouTube, and I would never do this. And I mean, I guess it was a different time, so I don't know if I can blame him, because I'm sure many of us would try and help our family. I don't know about this though. In another occasion, he found a text that was in Hebrew, which just said how to get in contact with Satan. Josue said he would pray to Satan and learn the prayer of his. Josue would ask to let them know if they're able to hear him. The first time he supposedly knew was when Josue ended up cutting his veins and invoked a demon's name, and apparently it appeared to him. But he says that instead of it looking like how we picture a demon, like horns, just how you normally would picture a demon. Josue said it appeared as a very thin black man. Josue then talked with said demon, and on the radio show, he also says that the demon follows him, and has followed him since then. Here's the clip of him saying this.
Sin embargo, se me apareció en un señor muy delgado. Era un señor negro, muy delgado, que se sentó junto a mí. Yo impactado, le dije, ¿quién eres tú? Él me dijo, no que me querías ver. En una forma tan tranquila, señor, donde me dijo, no que me querías ver. Y yo no sé si tonto o qué, le dije, es que tú no puedes ser el diablo, yo no creo que te me hayas aparecido a mí. Él me dijo, no, yo no soy el diablo, me dijo otras cosas que no puedo decirle.
Claro.
Ese fue mi primer acontecimiento y ese señor me acompaña y me ha acompañado desde ese momento hasta ahora.
Also, sorry, I'm sure you kind of got the idea that the show was a Spanish show, but I didn't mention it earlier. But yeah, it's a Spanish-speaking radio show. For the most part, I already said what they say, but I just want to put it on there so y'all know I'm not making anything up. Anyways, the demon taught Josue how to bewitch people and induce bad effects on others. All Josue has to do is say his name, and the demon would appear. The price he had to pay was a male goat, and with his friends / companions, they had to hold a ceremony. And at one point, the demon told him to bring a newborn baby. And Josue said that he was about to do it, but he didn't, because the demon just wasn't actually helping him. He was just asking, and Josue was getting nothing in return. Basically just giving him the runaround. I'll add the clip of him saying this, and you could hear him kinda distraught.
Dijo que yo tenía que traer a un bebé que acababa de nacer, que lo tenía una señora de ahí muy humilde. Yo estuve a punto de hacerlo. Estuve a punto de ir a robármelo. Estuve a punto de... Ya había preparado todo, señor, el altar. El altar, le digo, en un principio tenía yo mi centro de operaciones o mi lugar, mi refugio en la casa, en el tercer nivel. Después lo hice en el cerro porque él me lo pidió, dijo que me pidió especificaciones y yo fui. Yo empecé a dudar mucho, señor, porque no sé si sea muy incrédulo yo o qué, pero iba y hablaba a brujos, platicaba con gente espiritista, los espiritualistas, con chamanes. Yo busqué muchas opciones. Mucha gente me regañó bastante, ¿no? Hasta que una vez yo me le rebelé y le dije que ella no quería saber nada de él porque yo lo que quería era dinero y nada más me traía puras vueltas y vueltas. Para esto ya habían pasado muchísimos meses.
Josue then found another book and ended up doing the invocations in his living room. He did it from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. And at that point, he was tired and said he just went to bed. But a pig on his hind legs started attacking and pulling his mom. And so Josue called to the pig to get it away from his mom. And then, at that point, the pig said to follow him. So Josue did. The demon then took Josue to a cave that was well known in the area, in which the demon put him there. And then the demon, which was a pig, shifted to a man and then a woman. Josue says that it just kept changing forms. He also says that he was in the cave for 21 days. And for those 21 days, he didn't leave because he felt that the demons were preparing something for him. And he felt that he needed to stay in order to receive it. The demons then gave him a ring, in which Josue calls it the Ring of King Solomon. I don't know if this is a real ring, and that he takes care of it. And he says that he still takes care of it, or at least at the time in the interview. I'm pretty sure in the most recent interviews, he still has it, like on his finger. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows, but I'm pretty sure he still has it, or at least in the most recent interviews. The demon said that a spirit will follow him, and when he said the demon's name under the domain of Satan, it would appear and give him what he wants. But to obtain the ring, Josue had to give a family member, and which he ended up giving up his grandma, thinking that she had already lived her life. Then the demon showed him how to do everything, in which Josue says he ended up killing his grandma, or at least he ended up putting her to sleep with formaldehyde, and he repeated the prayers. He didn't really go into depth in the call, but he does say, while on the call, that he feels regret in doing this, because he feels like he killed her. After that, the demons tell him that it's done, and that his plights had been heard, and that he had been accomplished. He also said that he was surprised, because he thought it was going to be a normal deal. Like, I pay this, and you give me what I want. But he also says, this is in quotes, but I'm gonna say it in English, I guess my grandma's spirit was the payment.
Tal vez supongo que se pagó con el alma de mi abuela, pero bueno, en fin,
Josue says that after, quote-unquote, sacrificing his grandma, that more beings started coming and basically just made fun of him for doing what he did.
Posteriormente a esto vinieron muchos más seres, muchas personas a las que veía y que me estuvieron atormentando, venían, se burlaban de mí, queriéndome decir por qué hiciste eso, por qué lo hiciste. Espíritus a los que yo veía así, Señor, se los juro.
He did not feel comfortable with what he was getting, and apparently, during this time, he felt like his mind was opening up, and he ended up becoming, I didn't know the direct translation, so I just Google translated this. I know I'm Mexican and I just didn't know, but the Google translated version says parasitologist, bacteriologist, analyst. He did it in 6 months, which it would take 8 years to even become one. I don't know how true this is, but this is what he said.
Sé que aunque delicado, Señor, me está tranquilizando mi alma. Bueno, le digo, actualmente soy analista, bacteriólogo, parasitólogo, y tengo una empresa aquí en Estados Unidos, y tengo 20 años.
He also said he was 20 years old. Juan then asks Josue if he has a lot of money, but Josue just says that it's complicated and that he's not allowed to have a lot of money. He would get 15,000 and he would need to waste it that day, or else he'll wake up and have nothing and would have to do more bad things in order to get back to where he is now. He also says that getting that much money a day and having to waste it the same day torments him. I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I guess having that much money each day and having to waste it that day instead of saving it would kinda torment me. He says that he wastes that much money a day by buying things for more than the asking price. I'm pretty sure in the call, he said he would go to a jewelry store and buy a jewelry piece that cost $5,000 for $10,000.
¿Tiene mucho dinero?
No puedo tener yo mucho. Mire, en un día, por ejemplo, que gane unos $15,000.
$15,000.
Me los tengo que gastar ese mismo día porque si no al otro día no tengo nada. y tengo que hacer unas cosas malas, pues, para poder volver a decir, okay, entonces lo que gane un día tengo que repartirlo ese mismo día.
¿En qué se puede gastar $15,000 en un día?
¿Perdón?
¿En qué se gasta así $15,000? Son 150,000 pesos.
150,000. Muchas veces voy a los malls, al shopping center, ¿cómo se? ¿Dónde hay tiendas para comprar?
Sí, al centro comercial.
Ajá, por ejemplo, si me cuesta un anillo $4,000, pago $10,000 por él, cosas así.
He's not allowed to burn the money, and he's also not allowed to give out the money if it's with the intention of helping out others, or else, again, bad things would happen to him. He talks about how he saw this man working, and the man told him his story, and Josue thought to himself that he needs to help him out. He was just compelled to help him, and so he did. When Josue got to his house, he sees this woman that immediately attacks him and says on the call that it is his first time that he has ever seen her. He also says, while on the call with the host, that she is with him. The woman, according to Josue, is thin, pale, with black hair, and no feet. When she attacks him, she chokes him and says, "What's happening to you?" repeatedly, and that you never understand. During the call, Josue says the woman moves to sit in front of him. He also says that he has another name, but he's not allowed to say it. During the show, we hear noises coming from his side, and he says that he doesn't get scared by that, but what does scare him is what the woman has on her hand. They told him that when they see the mark on her hand, that he will die. And apparently, she showed him while on the phone. The mark is an inverted cross with an eye. Josue says that he had tried to get help, but no one has been able to help him. He shifts to the ring he got. He says that the ring isn't tight on his finger, and it could be spun on his finger, but he just can't take it off, and if he tries, bad things will happen to him.
Se están escuchando, por ejemplo, muchos ruidos ahorita. Eso es común, eso no me espanta. Lo que me espanta es lo que trae en la mano.
¿Qué trae en la mano?
No, espérate. Oh, por Dios, soy más Dios. Me tranquilicé. Tengo en mi poder este anillo que me dieron, con lo que puedo dominar muchas cosas. Trae en la mano es un símbolo, no sé cómo se llama, pero les explicaré cómo es. Es una punta como si fuese de flecha, que trae como si fuese una cruz cristiana invertida, y en el puño trae un ojo de cristal o algo así. Yo sé que eso es muy malo porque a mí me dijeron que cuando yo viera eso me iba a morir.
A priest that's with the host then comes and prays and tries to help Josue. While praying with and for Josue, you can hear things in the background, which to me sound like laughing.
Cristo Jesús te quiere limpiar y liberar. Cristo Jesús es mayor y quiere hacerlo. En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. En Cristo Jesús. No prestes atención. No prestes atención. No prestes atención.
While that is going on, Josue says that they are talking to him, and the priest just says to ignore them and just pray. You can hear Josue in pain when he starts praying and hearing the priest pray for him The priest tells Josue to repeat after him and say, Yo pertenezco a Cristo. Translated to English means, I belong to Christ. And for the most part, that's pretty much the end of the call. Halfway through the show, they just switch over to the priest and him trying to help Josue by praying and stuff like that. And for the most part, he's either in pain. After the show, the host of La Mano Peluda, Juan Ramon, said that while talking to Josue, that he thought at first it was like every other call. Which, I mean, with this statement, I assume he gets a lot of like prank calls or just calls that aren't believable. But he also states that as Josue kept telling a story, that he felt the room they were in start getting colder. And during the Bible reading section of the show, a page curled up by itself, and then a laptop exploded. Take this as you will. I don't know how true this is, but if it did end up happening, that is really creepy and just gives Josue's story more credibility. Either that or it's just a coincidence that those things happened while that was going on. So 9 years after the call, Juan and a team from TV Azteca met with Josue to document how he was doing. Josue agreed, but only if they can meet in a lake. Juan agrees and says that they will meet with him. Strange things started happening in Juan's house, like his bed shaking and wind behind his ear. He felt that whatever was with Josue did not like Juan trying to help him. Also, during the interview, Juan's stomach would be in pain. Again, take that as you will. So, after the TV show aired, Juan Ramon passed away due to a stomach bacteria. The cameraman that was with them was also hospitalized due to a hernia, and the show of Extra Normal, who hosted the meeting, got into a car accident. Also, a little after, the priest Roberto Guaso also died from heart issues. Many believe that Juan Ramon died because of Josue, who still had the ring on his finger. There are a lot of fans of La Mano Peluda that believe Josue made another pact that traded his life for Juan Ramon's sons. So if you recall, earlier in the video, I said that this ghost lady showed him a mark, and he said that when he saw the mark, he would die. So a lot of fans of La Mano Peluda believe that Josue made another pact and traded the life of Juan Ramon's sons and his. If you recall, earlier in the video, I mentioned that a lady, or a ghost lady, showed a mark to Josue, and Josue was terrified because he would die if he ever saw that mark. And so that's basically where the theory starts. And the meeting by the lake was a prerequisite to completing that deal. But I'm not too sure what to really make of this. Anyways, in 2012, a Mexican YouTuber tried and debunk this case, but in the end, he couldn't. And a lot of people say that Josue is just an actor and it's all fake. And if that's the case, I mean, I guess he should win an Oscar. Because throughout all the appearances, he still keeps up the story. And then, apparently in 2021, I couldn't find the TikTok, but in 2021, a supposed cousin of him made a TikTok saying that it was all real. So, take that with a grain of salt though, because I couldn't find the TikTok. So, that's pretty much the end of the case. I'm not too sure if it's real or not, because the only real experience I have with it is listening to the radio show, and reading like articles here and there about it as well. But I would like to hear what you guys think about it. Oh, also, did you guys like this video? I'm pretty sure like throughout the history of the show, I could probably make a couple more episodes of this series thing if you guys enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, comments really boosts us up in the algorithm. Thank you. Have a good day.